Okay, we're going to make our grain patties with some of the leftover beans and quinoa from last night. So here we have a chickpea salad with black Kalamata olives, some cucumbers, onions, and a miso dressing. And over here we have boiled quinoa with cranberries, cilantro, well not cilantro, celery, and some other good stuff. I didn't make it, but I tasted it. It was really good. So we're going to just use 2 cups of the grain. Pretty much 2 cups of grain, eyeball it, and 2 cups of whatever bean you have left. And right here I want more of those in there, so I put it in. You can see it's pretty much 50-50. And then I just stir it up. Okay, just a couple other things that we're going to mix in. You see we've got the quinoa and the garbanzos pretty well mixed up. We went ahead and put the rest of the garbanzo beans in there and then just added a little bit more of everything, really, just to get it nice and dense and really see how it would look. As I mix it up, I start to notice where it starts to stick together on its own, and that's really what I'm looking for. And I'm going to add these other things to it to help bind it so that when we cook it, it stays in one piece. So we're going to start with some flaxseed meal. A lot of times if somebody's going to make a croquette or some kind of patty, they put eggs in it in order to make it all stick together when they cook it. We're going to go around that by using some flaxseed meal. We're just going to use approximately, there's a lot of approximately going on in here, 2 tablespoons of flaxseed meal. We're also going to add some nutritional yeast. Same thing, just a few of them. And we're going to kind of touch and go based on texture and based on, as I mix it up, how much do I feel like it's getting around. Did that amount I put in there get to every piece and really get into it, or is it just in this one little section? And I'll add accordingly to what I find there. And so I'll go ahead and mix this up, noticing how the texture stays, or not stays, but starts to change. So try to, like from the top, just kind of fold it all inside itself so it gets everywhere. There we go. Neither one of these dishes were real salty to begin with, so I'm going to add some tamari for flavor, or at least for some saltiness to get across that whole thing. That nutritional yeast is going to add that also, so that was about maybe 1.5 tablespoons right there. Yeah, it's starting to clump together on its own real nice. I'm going to just go ahead and add a little bit more of both of those. Well, not both of those, but the nutritional yeast anyway. Okay, mix that in a little bit more. Yeah. And one more thing I'm going to add is a little bit of this stone ground mustard, just because in the past, other grain patties I've made, this has come out really nice. Add extra little flavor in there too. Fold it in. And then I'm going to prep my station to make the patties. Okay, so we've got just a little parchment paper over a cooking sheet so it doesn't stick and it's easy to move from the sheet into the pan. So we're going to just get our patties, get a little bit, kind of form them how we want. We don't want to make them too fat because it takes forever to cook. So if we can make them kind of small and thinner, we're doing good. And then just kind of feel it for how it's holding together, and that's holding together pretty good. We're just going to put it right down right there. Get a couple more going, and that's about the width that we want to do. Not too fat, just like that, and kind of tiny so they cook quicker. It's a little chickpea slider. So we've got the cast iron skillet going with some safflower oil. Got my hand wet just so I could, when I can toss a little bit of water on there and hear it pop, that's when I know it's ready. So I'm just going to take these and lay them out in the pan and let it go to work. If you have a little screen you can put over the top, that may help because you might get a lot of little popping, especially as those vegetables begin to let out their moisture into the oil. It's going to sizzle and do its thing. But you want it nice and hot before you put them in there so the that the patty doesn't just soak up the oil. You want it to cook it, not soak it in. I can slide them around. And usually when I put them down, I want to slide them a little bit just to make sure they're not sticking to the bottom. And we just let it set for a couple minutes, and we'll check it as we begin to see the edges begin to brown at the sides. And I might just move them a little bit and just feel what the bottom of it feels like. Does it feel like it glides pretty easy, like it's cooking, or is it stuck or like the top want to tear off when I go? So we'll check back in a couple minutes and then flip them. So we're going to flip these. And depending, sometimes they're pretty, they're fragile, right? So you might want to get a spatula to do it. Look at that, it's already looking like a burger. Not that I want it to look like a burger, but it still has a nice toasted, kind of cooked look to it. Smells good. Get a nice good shot right under each one. Kind of recenter them, move them around where it's easier for me to scoop the next one so I don't tear them apart. That took place maybe in about 5 to 7 minutes, something right in there. That one got a little mashed. I'll try to smash it back down and flip it again after both sides are nice and toasty. I can do a couple extra flips just to some of these ones that smash about to go again. And then I just let them set. All right. Okay, just real quick, we turn the heat up a little bit to get them going and crisp them a little quicker, so we're going to change them pretty quick, but just want to show you really fast how much that made right there. You saw me dump it all in. So, quantity-wise, it's a great way to go. We're just going to scoop these off nice and easy, and then put them on our little sheet over here so that it soaks up that oil. Okay. So I just want to show you really quick, nice and golden brown. The last ones are over there on the stove cooking right now. So I'm going to put this with a big mixed green salad and another bowl of soup that's mostly veggies. Real easy, but that's going to be your main source of protein right there, especially with the nutritional yeast that we put in there. That stuff's like 9 grams of protein per 2 tablespoons. So you could really, based on the flavor of what you taste here, add more, less, whatnot. It could probably use a lot more, and the nutritional yeast is going to give it like a salty flavor to it. You could also add ketchup or even any kind of little bit of flour to add to it to help it bind also, like rice flour that's gluten-free or something else that's gluten-free or whatever works for you. Alrighty.